Let's go across to our guests now. I want to thank all our reporters. We'll come back to you as and when there are further developments. I'm joined by Ratan Sharda, RSS researcher and author. Ashok Wankhede, senior journalist who's been tracking these developments as well. Ashok Wankhede, let me start with you first. Very emotional appeal by the Chief Minister. The problem is he just doesn't have the numbers. Nobody needs to respond to his emotional appeal. In politics, emotions count for far less than numbers do.
That's what I said. He has lost the game. It would have been better for him to resign then and there only and save his face. And then he would have approached the people that I have resigned and I have resigned for these reasons. Now making an appeal again gives a message that he still wants to be with the chair. He says that if MLAs come to tell me, why MLAs are already telling you? They are already telling you that we need to go with BJP. MLAs are already telling you that they don't want to be with, say, Congress and NCP. Now MLAs have made their intention clear to the extent that the people sitting in Guwahati has appointed new whip for the party in the for the house, and they have dismissed the present whip which was appointed by Uddhav Thackeray. Now that shows that it is a number game. I have been telling always, it's who wins is with whom the number is, and today the number is with Eknath Shinde. Now it's not a question whether he has 37 or 32 or 35. If the Sena has hardly 19 or 18 people with them, then that point of time only he should have resigned and he should have said, yes, I don't have MLAs, I don't have right to be there in the house.
Let me ask Chandrasekhar Jha of the Shiv Sena. The Chief Minister and his closest advisors clearly know the writing on the wall, sir. The numbers are not with Uddhav Thackeray. It's clear that your Chief Minister has to go. Why didn't he just come out and say that I'm stepping down because my own people have betrayed me or ditched me? But he's now saying I'm willing to move from Varsha to Matoshri, but these MLAs have to come and say this to me on my face.
See, the clinching point, he has said that we are not interested in power. First thing. The second thing is that the person, he is acting as a CM. He cannot leave his office right now and say I am resigning and leaving the public in a haphazard way. So in any case...
Sir, if he is not interested in power, he should step down, no? It's the basic rule of democracy. If you don't have the majority, step down.
He has said. See, the majority has to be tested on floor. If somebody says that I have got 50 MLAs or 60 MLAs, that has to be tested on floor.
Sir, the point is, on the one hand, you are saying the Chief Minister is not lusting after power. On the other hand, he is saying, oh, he's not willing to step down because it has to be proven on the floor of the House. Both are contradictory. Either you want power and therefore you're clinging on to power, saying that, prove majority on the floor.
No. These statements are very clear. We did not ever wanted the power. Eventually, when Uddhav Sahib was made CM, he was recommended by the Aghadi.
Sir, now that same Aghadi does not have the numbers, the same Shiv Sena, your party, the Chief Minister does not have the numbers. If he doesn't have the numbers, the right thing to do would be to step down.
You are telling. But nothing has gone to the governor. No document has gone to the governor.
Okay. Ratan Sharda, so the moot point is, and numerous Supreme Court judgments have outlined this, ultimately whether a government has majority or not has to be decided on the floor of the House. There is no such thing as, Chief Ministers taking moral responsibility and stepping down in case they see the writing on the wall that they don't have the numbers. Ratan Sharda.
See, Zakka, there are two ways. One is that now he knows that majority of his MLAs have deserted him. He can resign on a moral ground. There is no need to go to assembly. And says, I am ready to see who becomes the Chief Minister. The second is that he caused the assembly immediately.
You are saying everything in haste.
Mr. Jha, no.
You are saying everything in haste.
No crosstalk. Ratan Sharda, finish. Yeah, thank you.
Second possibility is he should have called the assembly to come on Facebook Live and expect the Shiv Sena Sainiks to come to him and tell him, please resign. Eknath Shinde had gone to his home. He was insulted, made to wait for 1 hour. There was a heavy showdown. At that time, his morality doesn't wake up. So this melodrama on the Facebook clearly showed he's a desolate, isolated leader today, but he doesn't have the strength, moral strength to resign or to call the assembly. As simple as that, everything else can be set aside. I am not getting into moral arguments, ethical arguments. that I've been discussing for the last 2-3 days. Simple point is he has lost faith of his own party. Just imagine 18, 19 people and he's saying I'm the chief minister. Out of 55, only 55. On what ground?
No,
And
Mr.
he
Jha, I
delayed
think,
his-
look, a democracy
delayed his paper 30
basic
minutes.
principle is this. You don't have the numbers, you step down. Mr. Thackeray today does not have the numbers. There are 35, minimum 35 in Guwahati out of your 55. On what basis is he continuing as chief minister?
Have they given any document? Have they given any signature on any document?
Yes,
That
they have.
these
Yes, they
numbers are
have. They have signed, 35 MLAs have signed saying that Eknath Shinde will continue to be the legislature party leader. 35 have signed out of your 55. Yes, that is a document.
Nothing. No documents has come. No documents have come. These are all probabilities still.
Mr. Jha, do
We
you
are
want me to
talking
play
only
that
on
document?
probability.
I have that
Let-
document. I can ask my producer to cue it up. Please play
No,
that
has it gone to
document.
the governor?
No. My point is, if 35 MLAs physically are present in Guwahati and they have physically signed a document saying we are continuing to support Mr. Shinde as the legislature party leader, there you go, that's the document. Then what
See,
more do you want?
There is anti-defection law will be applicable.
How will
because he requires
anti-defection
two
law be
more.
applicable?
37.
If he has
Why?
two-thirds majority, then
37 is the
anti-defection law will
requirement.
not apply.
37 is the number. That is very clear. That is the mathematical calculation. We are not saying that. That
Yeah.
is the
All right,
calculation
Sharad
which is
Pawar,
being
latest
given.
visuals, Sharad Pawar, the convoy of Sharad Pawar and Supriya Sule now making its way to Varsha, the Chief Minister's official bungalow. Sharad Pawar and Supriya Sule will... Oh, all right, Herman is in fact right there. Let's go across to him. Herman.
Well, Zaka, yes, as you can see, this is the convoy. There is heavy police security deployment. Only the official vehicles are being allowed. What we are seeing is that in one car, you have Jayant Patil of the NCP accompanied by Supriya Sule as well as Sharad Pawar. Besides that, also another NCP leader, Jitendra Awad, has also made its way. So 4 top senior leaders have gone there inside Varsha, and this is where you are going to have the joint political meeting as to what needs to be the next political strategy. As you are saying rightly, the numbers are advantage to Eknath Shinde's camp. So what really is going to happen next? Because what we do expect is that already the NCP as well as the Congress this morning have extended their full support to Uddhav Thackeray. But is that more than enough? Because the numbers clearly are a total disadvantage as far as it comes to Uddhav Thackeray.
All right, Herman, we'll leave it at that. Ashok Wankhede, Pawar is there, Mr. Awad is there, Jayant Patil is there, Supriya Sule is there. What are they going to tell the Chief Minister? The Chief Minister, at least from the Facebook Live, seems to be digging his heels in. He's played the emotional card, but that's all he has. He doesn't have anything else to play.
There are 2-3 points. I think the Sharad Pawar is going to tell him that though we are with you, you don't have yourself a number. So it is better let us resign and save the face. That is one solution. Now what the other spokesperson was talking about, the technicalities. Now it was not the Eknath Shinde has been elected as the leader of the legislative party of Sena by the MLAs. Now there is no question of 2/3 or 3/3. It's not the no confidence motion or a confidence motion. It's an inter-party democracy. If any, whenever the MLAs select their leader or MLAs sit together, they vote, the maximum vote who gets become the leader. Today, if he has got, out of 55, he has got 35 signatures, that means in Shiv Sena, he is the leader. So
No.
he has to be leader.
One second.
So-
One clarification. In a legislature party, if one group of MLAs is moving away from that legislature party or expresses
Yes.
its no confidence in the current leadership of that legislature party, then they have to get 2/3 of the
No.
strength of that legislature
Again.
party
Eh,
to
eh,
avoid the
just-
anti-defection law. The law is very clear about
Yes.
that.
Law is clear about that, but now they don't claim to be a separate group. They claim to be Shiv Sena.
Yeah.
He has never said that we are not a separate, we are a separate group. He said we are a Shiv Sena and I have a maximum MLAs. They have elected me as the leader. Now Uddhav Thackeray has to ask. Now they are saying we will have to see, the signature has to be seen. When Uddhav Thackeray invited the MLAs to his house, how many people reached there? Was that number crossing 20? No.
Okay.
That then itself it was clear that the maximum MLAs are with
No, that is
Eknath
absolutely
Shinde.
clear. The question is, A, that needs to be proven on the floor of the House, and B, more importantly, I think, yes, Mr. Jha is right. It has to be above two-thirds, because otherwise then it's going to be a long legal tussle. One side can say,
there is
you know,
one
there's
more
violation.
catch.
Anyway, let me, one second, let me go to the others as well. Two other guests have also joined us. Vivek ND has joined us. Naveen Chomal has joined us. Vivek ND, you heard Uddhav Thackeray. What is your takeaway? For me, it seemed like a desperate last card, an emotional card. And as you know, in politics, emotional cards sometimes work. But if you don't have the numbers, if you don't have the hard arithmetic on your side, then an emotional card is as good as useless.
Yes, I think the emotional card will definitely work in the long term. But I think he is also trying to sort of
Okay, I think we lost.
takes his
Okay, go
own
on.
lineage back for him with his Shinde.
Go on. I can hear you now. Yes, go on. Vivek, go on. I can hear you now. Go on, please.
Am I audible?
Yes. I can hear you
Should I
now. Please
repeat
go on.
myself? Yeah. So what I was saying was
All right, Vivek, I'm going to hold you there because of the bad audio connection. Deepak Kesarkar, Shiv Sena MLA, is also on the phone line. Mr. Kesarkar, you heard the Chief Minister. He's played an emotional card, but the numbers are not on his side, sir. उनके साथ तो संख्या नहीं है. The numbers are with Eknath Shinde.
That is true. His appeal was more on emotional ground. So I think that there was no rebel against him. The only issue is whether to go ahead with coalition with BJP or NCP and Congress alliance. And the kind of experience all the MLAs had with this alliance was not all that good. That's why they were all the time requesting Uddhav Sahib not to go ahead with this alliance and go ahead with BJP, because that was a natural ally of Shiv Sena for so many years.
No, but Mr. Kesarkar,
due to
you
some
heard the
reasons, it
CM.
could
The
not
CM
get
is
through.
saying, I did not want to become Chief Minister. I only became because Sharad Pawar and Sonia Gandhi asked me to. And they continue to support me, but what can you do if your own people betray you? That's what the CM said.
That is true, but nobody had asked for his resignation, really. And the issue that they were asking for is not addressed by him, unfortunately. And it is more of an emotional thing for Shiv Sena ordinary workers also. They wanted him to be the CM. And this could have happened 1.5 years back also. But that time he hadn't taken any decision. Because so far I know, they had a dialogue. The Honorable PM and the CM had a dialogue. And that time, had this been happened, so this situation would have not arisen.
No, now the question is, Mr. Kesarkar, the CM does not have the numbers. The numbers are with Mr. Shinde. The CM is playing an emotional card. We don't know if any of the rebel MLAs will be swayed by it. How do you see this situation resolve itself?
The situation will not be resolved because ultimately there has to be majority on the floor of the House. And for that, emotional appeal, making an emotional appeal, is his own right. So if he is using it, that is good. But this dialogue should have come 2-3 days back. Now things have reached to such a stage.
All right, Mr. Kesarkar, thank you very much. I also have Mr. Ashok Chavan, Minister in the Maharashtra government, the MVA government, and also former Chief Minister. Thank you very much, Mr. Chavan. You heard Uddhav Thackeray emotional appeal to his party members to return. But why should they? The numbers are not with the Chief Minister. The numbers are with Eknath Shinde in Guwahati. Mr. Ashok Chavan, if you can hear me, sir. Mr. Ashok Chavan, this is Zaka Jacob from CNN News 18 Newsroom. I'm trying to ask you, you heard the Chief Minister making an emotional appeal, but why should his rebel MLAs return? Mr. Ashok Chavan, I'm going to try one more time. If you can hear me, sir, what do you make of what the Chief Minister said in his Facebook Live, which concluded about 20 minutes ago? Okay, we don't have Ashok Chavan. We'll go back to him as and when we get his line. But we also have Naveen Chomal joining us. Naveen Chomal, will the legal sort of eagles now have to get in? Because ultimately, I think who has majority, which faction has majority, has to be decided on the floor of the House. So far, we have not heard either from the rebel MLAs asking for a trust vote, writing to the governor. Neither has the governor asked either side to come to the floor of the House and prove their majority yet. But ultimately, do you see this story moving in that direction? Because both sides are saying that they are the real Shiv Sena.
Zaka, I think I should agree with what Ashok ji just now said, Ashok Wankhede ji. And he has made a very fine distinction and a very valid point that the group being led by Shinde has not defected from the Shiv Sena. They are all Shiv Senics only. And as agreed by even Sharad Pawar, that this is an internal issue within Shiv Sena. So this particular majority in the Shiv Sena...
Chomal Sahab, give me one moment. Chomal Sahab, give me one moment. I'm joined on the phone line by Rao Sahab Patil Danve, Minister in the central government. Thank you very much, Danve Sahab, for speaking with us. You heard the Chief Minister. आपने सुना Chief Minister को बड़े emotional appeal किया उन्होंने. क्या प्रतिक्रिया होगा आपका?
नहीं, उन्होंने जो अभी अपील किया है शिव सैनिकों से, जिस बात पर उन्होंने अभी दोहराया है, ये शिकायत तो कई दिनों से ये एमएलए उनके पास करते थे कि हमारे काम नहीं हो रहे, और अपन जिनके साथ अपन सरकार बनाई वो अपन उनके विचार से सहमत नहीं है. जो बाला साहब जिनके साथ संघर्ष किया बाला साहब ने कांग्रेस राष्ट्रवादी के साथ, उनके साथ जाना ये ठीक नहीं है. लेकिन सत्ता के लालच में उद्धव जी उनके साथ चले गए और जाने के बाद जो असंतोष था वो आज प्रकट हो गया.
नहीं, लेकिन वो रिजाइन नहीं कर रहे हैं. वो कह रहे हैं कि ये लोग सीधे आए मुंबई और मेरे मुंह पे बोले कि वो चाहते हैं कि मैं रिजाइन करूं. और ये भी है कि उन लोगों ने ये नहीं कहा कि उद्धव साहब को रिजाइन करना चाहिए. वो सिर्फ यही बोल रहे हैं कि अलायंस बदलना चाहिए.
नहीं, वो नहीं चाह रहे, ऐसा नहीं. 7 बजे अभी शिंदे साहब प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने वाले हैं
जी.
इन्होंने बोला कि अगर कोई शिव सैनिक राजीनामा देने की बात करता है तो मैं राजीनामा देने के लिए तैयार हूं.
हाँ.
लेकिन जिस दिन अपना बहुमत खोया जाता है उस दिन रिजाइन करना ही पड़ता है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है इन्हें रिजाइन देना चाहिए.
नहीं, ये बताइए, लेकिन ये बहुमत है कि नहीं है ये तो ऑन द फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस ही तय होगा ना.
वो होगा, लेकिन आज भी उन्होंने फिर बहुमत सिद्ध करने के लिए हाउस को बुलाना चाहिए.
तो आपको क्या लगता है कि गवर्नर को ट्रस्ट वोट के लिए नोटिफिकेशन भेजना चाहिए?
इन्होंने हेलो
जी बोलिए बोलिए, सुन रहा हूं.
नहीं, अब देखिए घटनाक्रम बदलते जा रहा है. क्या होता है आप देखो 7 बजे के बाद.
नहीं, क्या बीजेपी और शिंदे साहब का जो फैक्शन है वो मिला के गवर्नर को चिट्ठी लिखेंगे कि ट्रस्ट वोट तुरंत से तुरंत किया जाए?
बिल्कुल नहीं. हम पहले से बोल रहे हैं कि सरकार गिराने की कोशिश हम कुछ करेंगे नहीं. खुद सरकार आपस में उनमें नहीं बनी तो सरकार गिरेंगी, और वही हुआ है. भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने इसमें कोई हिस्सा नहीं लिया सरकार गिराने में.
लेकिन साहब ये तो सही है ना कि कल ये सारे एमएलए जो हैं सूरत में थे, आज गुवाहाटी में हैं, दोनों बीजेपी के शासित प्रदेश हैं, तो ये भी मतलब बीजेपी की सपोर्ट तो है ही इसका.
अरे आधे से ज्यादा इंडिया में बीजेपी के ताबे में है. तो ऐसा थोड़ा है कि हमारे स्टेट में गए तो हमारा सपोर्ट है.
तो आपके हिसाब से अगला क्या होगा? 7 बजे क्या होगा? शिंदे साहब क्या बोलेंगे?
नहीं, अभी क्या बोलेंगे मैं नहीं बता सकता. मेरी कोई उनसे मुलाकात नहीं हुई. लेकिन सुनो क्या बोलते हो, तो क्या अपील करते हो.
लेकिन आपको उम्मीद है कि अल्टीमेटली बीजेपी और शिंदे पक्ष का एक सरकार बनेगी महाराष्ट्र में?
आज नहीं बोल सकते. बीजेपी वेट एंड वॉच की भूमिका में.
All right, Rao Sahab Patil Danve, Union Minister, thank you very much for speaking with us. So BJP is also playing its cards very close to its chest, perhaps maybe chastened by the 2019 experience when Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar in the early morning hours went and got sworn in the Raj Bhavan. Maybe once bitten, twice shy is at play here. The BJP, even though it's very apparent that the MLAs were first taken to Surat and then they were taken to Guwahati, both are BJP ruled states. So it's very apparent that there is some form of understanding or tacit backing, if you will, by the BJP. But clearly they're not coming to the forefront. Not even Devendra Fadnavis is coming to the forefront and saying what is in his mind right now, because they want to see how this story plays itself out between the Uddhav faction and now what is the Shinde faction, and eventually which of these two factions prevail, because therein is going to lie the future of the Maharashtra government. Let me go back to Mr. Chomal Saab. Naveen Chomal, yes, you were making a point.
So, coming to the issue, this is going to be very delicately handled by both the sides. And Eknath Shinde is very clever and very categoric on his stance that we will be running the Shiv Sena, we will be following the ideals and the guidelines that were given to them or the entire Shiv Sena by Honorable Balasaheb Thackeray. So within the Shiv Sena, I think it is this particular group that is going to be the majority. So there is no question of anti-defection law coming into picture at the moment. Plus,
no, but if the chief minister claims that he is the leader of that party, and then X number of people do not have confidence in his leadership, then surely yes, where are you going to prove it? You're not going to prove that in a letter of support. You're going to prove that on the floor of the House.
Definitely, but initially a route is being given to Mr. Uddhav Thackeray for a graceful exit.
But he's not taking it. At least so far he's not saying that he will step down.
Let my face be blackened. Then it's okay. The matter will go to the floor, the legalities will be there. And ultimately, till yesterday, Eknath Shinde camp was having around 29 to 30 MLAs. Yes. Now around 35 are there with them. Yeah. Required figure is 37. So hopefully 37 can be reached.
Okay, let me go to Vivek. I think it's very clear. 35 were there on the flight from Surat to Guwahati. Mr. Shinde speaking to us earlier today, he said he has 46. Whatever the number is, it is likely above the 37 figure, which means anti-defection will not apply. One interesting thing is, Mr. Shinde is not asking for Uddhav Thackeray's resignation. His only demand is stick to the original Hindutva as was taught by Balasaheb Thackeray and change from the MVA and join hands back with the BJP. Given what Mr. Thackeray has said in his address, that it was Sharad Pawar and Sonia Gandhi who asked him to be CM, and that's why he's CM, and they continue to support him, do you see that possibility at all, Vivek? You have to unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah. I don't think there's a possibility of the extension of support by Mr. Sharad Pawar and Sonia Gandhi towards Shinde. That would not be a possibility right now.
No. What I asked was, is it possible that if there were to be some compromise arrived at between the Shinde faction and the Thackeray faction, eventually the united Shiv Sena can go back to the BJP and that alliance forms the government, the next government?
That too seems a little doubtful given the kind of nationalist secular perspectives or points which Uddhav Thackeray has been taking over the last year and a half. So given that, I think it's a sort of bridge which the Shiv Sena and the BJP have already dismissed.
So then are we looking at, Ratan Sharda, a vertical split down the Shiv Sena with a larger number of Shiv Sena MLAs with Eknath Shinde and a much fewer number of MLAs with Uddhav Thackeray? Ultimately, this is not just going to be about, saving this government or what form the next government will take, but it's also going to be about a fight for the Shiv Sena, the real legacy of the Shiv Sena.
See, if Uddhav Thackeray had not been pumped up, his ego had not been pumped up to become chief minister and betray the mandate of the people, I don't believe he will resign now and offer the seat to Eknath Shinde. Nor will Sharad Pawar and Congress support it. So naturally, only possibility is, because of his ego, he will not let Eknath Shinde make him resign and join totally with BJP. That's not possible. So vertical split seems to be the idea. But point is, should this have, either you go to the law and keep dragging the pain and have literally no government in Maharashtra, or you say, okay, fine, the time is over, I will leave. That is what Sharad Pawar hinted when yesterday Congress and Sharad Pawar nearly dismissed the alliance but started again past tense. It means they have given up. But Uddhav Thackeray has some advisors who want to make a mess of it. If he had gone with a high moral ground and resigned, he would have actually then retained the sympathy of the people, not now.
Okay. Ashok Wankhede, how is this story likely to play? We know that Sharad Pawar is meeting Uddhav Thackeray right now. Yesterday, when Mr. Pawar was asked, what exactly is going on, he said this is Shiv Sena's internal matter. How different is this from the Ajit Pawar rebellion in the NCP?
Ajit Pawar went with only paper, not with the MLAs. He had the signed paper, he submitted the signed paper to the governor, and on that basis of the paper, governor gave him the oath. But this time, it is not the paper, it is the MLAs have been transferred. It is just not on paper, it is practical. You see MLAs sitting there and having photograph with a smiling face and sending to social media, proving that they are in number. Now the problem is, the Shiv Sena, it would have been a better for Uddhav Thackeray. As soon as he came to know that he has only 20 about MLAs with him in the meeting, immediately he should have resigned and went to the public and has gone to the public. On then Facebook he should have spoken that I have resigned because many people have left me. Now the coming elections we will decide who is Shiv Sena. That would have been a better what I feel. But as one of the spokespersons says, he has got such a advisor that they are messing it up. Like Sanjay Raut making a tweet saying that, we will ask the house to be dissolved. How can the government in a minority can pass a resolution to house the dissolution of the house? That cannot be done. But there is one more catch into that. Why Eknath Shinde is saying continuously that he is Shiv Sena? Because if we work on that 2/3 majority and if he becomes a split group, then according to the amendment, 91 amendment in the Act, it says that if you are a separate group with 2/3 majority, then you have to merge with the party with whom you are forming a government. You cannot be a separate group. That's what it says. So in that case, you will have to go with the BJP. You have to get merged into BJP, which he will not. So he is claiming that he is true Shiv Sena. The fight is who is Shiv Sena. On the parliament, in the house, on the floor of the house, it will be the number of MLAs which will decide who will be the Shiv Sena.
No, so essentially you are going to have a fight like with what we saw when Jayalalitha died. Who is the real ADMK? Who gets elected?
Exactly. Yeah. You got the
who got the symbol?
So,
who has the EC recognition? So on.
Same thing will be repeating. We'll see that same repetition here.
All right. Chandrasekhar Jha, ultimately this is a fight, like I said, not just to save your government, but perhaps even save your party.
See, I would say that all are probabilities. Let the result come and let us see what happens.
No, but why is the Chief Minister not stepping down? I mean, a basic moral obligation would have meant that since he does not even have
he has already announced that
third of his MLAs with him, he should step down.
Let the fraction speak to him.
The fraction has spoken to him. Yesterday, Mr. Narvekar went to Surat, and I'm given to understand that there was a phone conversation between Mr. Thackeray and Mr. Shinde.
Mr. Jha, the writing on the wall is clear. Writing on the wall is clear. Those were not ready to read it.
You are adjudging everything in haste.
No. Why are you saying haste? It's been last 48 hours. This whole story has been playing across national media.
I think there is no confusion from Shinde's point of view.
I think in 2019 the game was running for 30 days.
Okay. That was a different story. That was not split in the party. It was split in the Gathbandhan.
That was a different story. Everybody betrayed at that moment.
No.
Everybody betrayed at that moment against
you cannot compare that thing with
and how in the night the government was formed. You see, everything is possible in politics. Don't divulge the things. Let there be all probabilities be open. Let everybody come out, have a talk.
No, I am asking you a simple question, Mr. Jha. In a democracy, numbers are the only thing matters. Otherwise, you have to have some kind of secret trick up your sleeve.
See,
what secret does Mr. Thackeray have? Because if he had any, he would have said that in his Facebook Live. The only thing he seems to have is an emotional card.
And for emotion, you need some morality.
There has to be a no confidence.
No, not just morality. You need numbers.
Let that no confidence.
For emotion card, I'm saying.
Yes.
See, now you are talking on numbers, but see, there is no such law in the constitution that one has to resign. Let everybody come out. He is ready and willing to resign. He said that.
Okay.
But let the fraction come out. Let the talks begin. Let the talks begin and let the party decide on it.
Do you see, Wankhede Saab, the MLAs coming back to Mumbai until there is a trust vote date that is set? Until maybe even the day of the trust vote?
Before that, all MLAs will be getting white category security. There will be a big fleet of police people and the paramilitary forces taking them to the house. And ultimately, बहुत बेइज्जत होके निकलेंगे ठाकरे साहब, which he should have been avoiding. Still, people in Shiv Sena loves it, but it will be a bad thing for him to get kicked out from the power. If I use the right word, what Chandrasekhar did when Chandrasekhar was told that you are spying for Congress, he said I resign. Congress was pleading not to resign. He said no, I have lost.
Whether such statements made right now is important. The importance is that the thing has to come out. Let the faction come out.
No, categorically he is saying that we are with you, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, provided you part with, you be with BJP, form the government with BJP. We are with you. Has he accepted that?
So let the talks begin. Let the talks begin.
What talk? You want to talk? Will it make any difference if he talks across the face? Now, when Uddhav Thackeray can talk on Facebook to the nation, they have spoken on telephone to him. What difference it makes? They have made it very clear. Categorically, he is saying BJP has to be our partner. Sena has to be with BJP. We are with you. He went to the extent that I don't want to be a minister also.
You say on the national television that we should go with the BJP. That is your contention?
No, that's what your MLAs have asked. That's what a majority of your MLAs have asked. How does it matter what Ashok Wankhede or I think?
That is
majority of your MLAs have said in a written letter
that
please ally with the BJP. That's what your MLAs have said.
That is the internal discussion which has to take place. That is what I am saying.
There was no internal democracy. That is the reason people left out and they are speaking now.
Okay, I want to go back to Ratan Sharda. Ratan Sharda, the question is ultimately this story can go two ways. Either Mr. Thackeray sees at some point, certainly he hasn't seen it today, but at some point he sees the writing on the wall, and that is he doesn't have the numbers and therefore he steps down. Or the BJP as well as this rebel faction will have to come to the floor of the house and prove that they have the numbers and the Shiv Sena and the Aghadi don't have the numbers. These are the only two options in which this story sort of eventually moves towards its culmination.
See, as Ashok has rightly pointed out, who has also said that if he wants sympathy, if he wants to be on the moral high ground, he should have resigned. And when he says, Bachit nahi hui, Mr. Jha said they have not talked. Eknath Shinde went there to his house. He was made to wait for 1 hour, and there was heavy showdown. What message did Uddhav Thackeray get? It is similar to PD episode of Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. So if you don't respect your senior workers and you try to bulldoze them because you feel that Sharad Pawar and Sonia Gandhi will save you, there is a serious understanding of the politics. Maharashtra politics cannot be controlled from Delhi. It has been same time and again it has been seen. So Mr. Jha trying to say, Faisla, kaun sa Faisla? Faisla is either you go to the governor and offer a resignation, or Faisla is you call the assembly. You're not calling the assembly. You are going to social media and trying to entice them to make a commitment. Did you try to send Aditya Thackeray to them to show respect to them and talk to them? No, you send a junior person there who was trying to talk to a very senior person. Naturally, he was not associated. And he says you drop the coalition with Congress. That's the first condition. And to understand that pain, they know they will not be getting re-elected despite so-called best chief minister tag he wants to carry.
No, what is this obligation, Chandrasekhar Jha? What is this? No, once again, Mr. Jha. What is this obligation that you have towards NCP and to Congress? Even in the brief FB live that the Chief Minister had, he said, even today Sonia Gandhi and Sharad Pawar are supporting me.
Yeah.
He's not talking about his MLA is not supporting him. Isn't that more important than whether Sharad Pawar and Sonia Gandhi are supporting him?
Misplaced priorities.
Simply he is clueless.
Mr.
Jha. See, let these possibilities become a result. Why one should not talk to another person? A fraction which has divided, they have not given an ultimatum that he should resign. Let me be very clear. These are all the talks are open right now. let us not debate on this.
Mr. Jha, Mr. Jha, are you saying, no, 1 second, are you saying that your MLAs will come back if Mr. Thackeray does not resign?
No, that is a question apart. That the question is that he has called everyone that if and everyone wants that he should resign, he should resign. He has said that.
There was a Shiv Sena official whip that was issued today that if all these MLAs don't turn up by 5 p.m., then action will be taken against them. It's 6:45 right now. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. What action have you taken?
Let us wait. What actions are being taken? Let us wait what actions have to be taken from the senior leadership.
Okay, Herman's also joining us. I want to go across to him. Herman, what's happening outside Varsha? I know that Sharad Pawar, other senior NCP leaders are inside the Chief Minister's official residence. They're speaking with him. Yeah. What is likely to be the next course of action?
Well, Zaka, what we are picking up, and it's a very important development from our sources, is that the Chief Minister is most likely to move out of his official residence here at Varsha and move over to Matoshri. Now, that's a significant development if it does take place, but sources extremely close to the Chief Minister's office are suggesting so. Now, in that short speech that he spoke, where he went live on Facebook, he definitely did say that in case he's open to the option of moving from Varsha to Matoshri. Besides that, also stating that in case if any one of the rebel MLAs does come up to him and says that they did not accept him as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, he is ready to step down not just from that post but also from the position as the chief of the Shiv Sena. So that's the current development coming in. We do know, even as I speak to you, you have Jitendra Awad of the NCP, Supriya Sule, Jayant Patil, as well as the Supremo Sharad Pawar, who in fact, according to, as Mr. Uddhav Thackeray said, had asked him to take over the responsibility of being the Chief Minister. They are still right now in a huddle discussing what's going to be the next course of action. And Zaka, in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we do know that in fact Eknath Shinde is also going to brief the media. So definitely all eyes will be on the press conference, and definitely the Chief Minister would be listening to it. Besides that, also the Congress as well as the NCP, Zaka.
Yeah, here is the odd point. The Chief Minister could likely, and he said this in his FB Live as well, he is willing to move out of Varsha, go back to Matoshri, which is from the official Chief Minister's bungalow. He's willing to move out from there and go to the private residence, but he's not willing to send his resignation to the governor. Naveen Chomal, how does that work?
See, this is totally lack of maturity, which Uddhav has been showing since inception. Right from the time when they won the election on the basis of support to the BJP and allies with the BJP, and all of a sudden he joined the total opposite party, that is Sharad Pawar and Sonia Gandhi. So that is total political immaturity which Uddhav showed for his greed. Basically he wanted to promote his son to the post of minister, which BJP may not have been allowed actually. And there are of course many other reasons. So ultimately today whatever we see Uddhav doing, we cannot figure them from a point of rational or a seasoned politician. All steps are very surprising and not very much conforming with the moves what a seasoned politician or a mature politician would do.
Okay, Ashok Wangere, what does that mean? The Chief Minister is willing to move out of the official bungalow, but he's not going to officially resign.
Not going to resign.
Yeah.
And then in the morning he conveys them that.
Okay, well, Mr. Wangere, yes.
It's a one way of saying that I would resign if you want. If you want. They have wanted him to resign, but he is not listening to them. But what everybody is saying, it is a greed for power that Uddhav Thackeray has compromised with everybody. See, in all political parties have a greed for power. The same BJP made a mistake by forming an 80 hours government with Ajit Pawar. Ajit Pawar was from NCP and he had the letter, so they thought the NCP is supporting that. The same BJP, when Devendra Fadnavis for the first time became the Chief Minister, the first vote of confidence was bailed out by NCP. So that time Hindutva was very good with NCP. So it's all matter of speaking and discussion on the television studio. It is what all his number matters. And today Uddhav don't have a number that is written on the wall. So it is all Facebook.
No, in the next 4 or 5 minutes, Mr. Shinde is going to have his press conference. Do you believe he will explicitly say in that press conference, Uddhav Thackeray, we want you to step down because you don't have the numbers?
He will categorically say, I am Shiv Sena. We want to form a government with BJP. please step down, dissolve this government. You come out, sir, and let us form government with BJP. That will be on the terms of BJP. Uddhav will not be the chief minister. In any way, Uddhav will have to step down. Now, then Uddhav party, if at all Uddhav want to stop the split in the party, he want to take the party together, then he will have to accept the demand of the majority of the people. If he accepts that, that means Uddhav has lost control over Shiv Sena, Uddhav has lost control over everybody, the Thackeray family is finished. So he is not going to do that. Ultimately, he will resign, maybe in a day or two, or today also night he can resign after the press conference. If he resigns, then at least he can have Sena outside the house, Sena with him, and inside the house, he will not have any Sena, because the Sena which claims to be will be Sena, Eknath Shinde, outside will be Sena, Uddhav Thackeray.
So there are going to be two Senas, like the AIDMK A faction, B faction,
Yes.
A faction. There
Yes,
are going to be two
yes,
Shiv Senas,
yes.
Chandrasekhar Jha, one inside the house and one outside the house. Mr. Jha.
These are probabilities. I'm not debating on these issues. He has expressed everything now.
No, how has he expressed everything? The one thing that he needed to express, which is that he doesn't have the numbers, therefore he's stepping down. He's not expressed that.
I told you exactly what he has said, that they should come up and say that they don't have any confidence in him, he will resign. That is very clear. Even after an hour or so, he can do it, but let all the communications come down.
Okay, Vivek, ND, I mean, is this mind games that Uddhav Thackeray is playing, or is it immaturity? What is it, Vivek?
I don't think it's his immaturity as such. I think it's just trying to buy some more time before he figures out his next political step.
And what may
I
he
think Zaka-
what may he
always work
do with that time, unless he's able
majority of the
to
population.
bring back some of the rebels? What can possibly time buy him?
Time is only to get a little more appeal on his side from the larger population. I think the MLAs coming back would be difficult at this point of time, given their tendency of what they have stated so far. But the only appeal which he can make is to the people. And as you said, in terms of showing numbers in the assembly, that I don't think time will have much of a factor.
You know, so that's exactly what I'm saying, that it's not like there's going to be an election anytime soon. I don't think any politician wants to go back to the people in the middle of a term, whether it's from Shiv Sena or BJP or Congress or NCP.
Small, just 5 seconds, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
The funniest part in entire episode is BJP has not accepted their support. BJP has not made any statement to willing to form the government.
Yeah.
Eknath Shinde said we need to go with BJP. He said no, we don't need to go with BJP. Nobody is asking BJP what they want.
No, we asked
The
Rao
funniest
Saab, we asked Rao Saab Danve Patil, and he says our move is wait and watch. Maybe because of
Wait
what
and
happened
watch.
between
So
Fadnavis
if
and
tomorrow
Pawar.
he says,
I got to
okay,
wrap
let us
up.
go
I'm
with BJP.
completely out of time. Thank